Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it stop? Nobody knows. It's a revolution, ayy. Bitcoin is the one, no substitution, ayy. With Shizzy and Yagobi, it's Ordinal Revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystems. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. So every weekend, we do a weekend update. That's kind of get you guys caught up to what is going on. If you were out Friday night, if you were out touching grass yesterday, we're going to get you guys covered up on everything you guys need to know. We have a lot to talk about. And we're going to get into some fun stuff, too. We're going to kind of get into your bags. And everyone always, the ratings always go up when we talk about your bags. So we're going to cover all the marketplaces and all that stuff and kind of give you guys the exact price points of everything and kind of give you how we're feeling for each product, too. So we're going to give you all that stuff. Obviously, yesterday was June 1st. And what that does, that gives you a new dot on the stock to flow chart. And we here, well, me, I put words in Yagobi's mouth, but me, I'm very big on the stock to flow chart. I think it's going to pan out pretty close to what Plan B is projecting. So that's going to be fun. We got some tweets from Bob Lucas. We're going to get into that. And we're getting into a lot of fun stuff, and it should be exciting. So without further ado, I'm bring my partner, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What is up? What's up?
So how was your week? How are you feeling about the Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem?
Week was good. Week was actually really good. I feel like both of us had pretty good weeks, right? Because we talk all the time, every day.
Yeah.
But in terms of the markets, just kind of our own carving out our own like strategies for different things, and this is something we can talk about in our members live stream more. But yeah, I feel like Bitcoin's price action was choppy, but in terms of the runes ecosystem, it was a pretty big week. I feel like Dog got all the way to like 800 plus that $1 million market cap, right? And the other tokens in the rune ecosystem started to show some life, really. And it's very interesting because I feel like it's a little bit different than what we saw in BRC20. We kind of saw once the BRC20 run happened, like it was on. You just like said, okay. With this, it's kind of like, it seems like it's like little phases, right? It's like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, was like a little pump with Dog, and then everything followed a little bit. And then this week, it's kind of like a little bit more pump, but not like aggressive, crazy, let the dogs loose type of situation. But could be, that gets me bullish too when that happens, right? Because when that happens, I picture Dog being 1.5 to $2 billion, and then the rest of the ecosystem really blowing up aggressively.
Yeah, I agree. The biggest thing for me with Dog was the fact that it didn't go down hard. Like it went up 80% last week, right? It went up pretty like if you go back to last Sunday to where we're at today, it's up like 80%. And the fact that people didn't sell off, that's huge. That's
True.
real conviction. That's real conviction of we're not nowhere near my price point of selling. And obviously as we go up, we're gonna hit certain people's price point of selling. But I just think that we're still kind of far away. I think people are thinking easily 1 billion, and probably. I mean, I'm in my head. I think 3 billion is pretty easy. I think once you get on those exchanges, things go crazy, and I think we can get past Dog Whiff. Do you think if Dog Whiff's at 3 billion?
Yeah, Dog Whiff has a pretty good little head start there.
Yeah.
But, when you have liquidity pools, it does change the game. I mean, it's just a matter of fact type of situation with that. For all the hype that like Ordi got during the summer of last year and like the fall, it still never really touched anything close to what, Pepe got, got to and maintained, right? And so you're talking about like, I think like $6 billion market cap now with Pepe. And so, this could be game changing in terms of runes to see how high it could go. Well, this will give us a true test if the UX is really what hinders it, right? Because if Dog to the Moon can't get, past like a $1.5 billion market cap, we know that, hey, look, this has got to change. Like UX has to change quick. What I mean? And because that's what's holding it back. If that's the case, but then also tells us how much potential is still on the table, though.
100%. we had a talk with someone really big in the space, really understands everything. One of the smartest people we know, and he said that like Ordi, the BRC 20, isn't even a BRC 20 anymore, right? He was like, it's Ordi. It's it's basically a leveraged play on Bitcoin. And do you think Doll could get that as well as being the leading rune?
It could. It definitely has more of the playfulness to it because it is very meme oriented
Yeah,
and stuff like that and community driven. But so was Doge, and Doge kind of just went on its own trajectory
yeah.
and did very, very well. So it's all about the centralized exchanges because that's really where the normies will have the easiest access to it, right? So,
Robinhood. Yep. We need
yep.
Robinhood. For any room to do like absolute crazy numbers, they're probably gonna need Robinhood. But yeah. So let's kind of get into yesterday was June 1st, which means we got a new dot on the Plan B chart. Plan B puts out a chart called the stock to flow. And I was excited. This is the first red dot. As you look at the first red dot on every single cycle, it is the beginning of absolute insanity. So it's one of those things where it's the first one. It might not be, the first 3 months. It might not be like, let's just say we get something like this. But I put together my own version of this chart,
Uh-oh.
and this is what I'm saying. Right. So this is me.
Up
I put some.
only.
No, well, I mean, if the whole chart is up only, right?
Yeah,
So I just
sure.
gotta. But I'm thinking we hit that, that $700,000 mark. I was doing the math, and it's like looking like November 2025. And
Yeah.
then we kind of have this dip, but I don't think my dip is too bad. My dip only gets down to around 300K before
Yeah.
we really push up to the next super. This is a super cycle, guys. This is what considered a 10-year span as a super cycle, and that hits that $6 million market cap. I'm thinking for 2029, mid 2029, mid 2030, before we kind of just hang out there. And I think once we get to there, I think that's when we kind of just sit flat and barely move at all anymore. Like up
Yeah.
there, I mean, $1
Old.
million at that point is nothing. It's just to kind of fluctuate. So, but that's just my crazy prediction. Do you think? Do you think this is possible?
Yeah, I mean, I think the trajectories are obviously going to be different. Just because like you can see the dots from the previous cycles that they're, a little. They're just kind of some of them are like bunched together, and then
Yeah.
it's not just a straight line. But yeah, for like a high level, I think that this is something that can really help people understand, how accurate this stock to flow model has been, right? Um, and it's kind of like if you look at the gold chart, right? I think there was
Yeah.
literally 1 or 2 years that was thrown off with the gold chart since the gold ETF, but it was like one out of you know like 15 years or something,
Yeah.
so I don't think that this year is going to be the year that Bitcoin gets thrown off. I think that it actually follows the same trend except for a little bit more hyper aggressive because of ETF. So this looks good in terms of what's possible.
Yeah.
And think about it, like let's say Bitcoin does like touch. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be, lower than that. But let's say it touches 750,000,
Yeah.
and then it retraces kind of to have like a bear market, if you will, afterwards, and it gets down to like 300,000. There's going to be so many people still calling for like Bitcoin to go to zero and all that stuff at that point because it won't seem drastic if we have the same mindset of where we are. It's about a time situation, time mentality, and perception.
Yeah.
But going from 750K to 300,000 is substantial in terms of dollars, right? And so, but for us, because time in the market, we'll be like, oh man, that's nothing. We're just following the
Yeah.
road.
Yeah, man. And I was watching. I don't know if you watch the show All In podcast, right? With it's Chamath. It's like it's one of
Oh
my favorite
yeah, I've seen it.
podcasts. Yeah, it's basically that's one thing we have that we never had before. You can watch a podcast with 4 billionaires, 4 people that I want to be in their position one day, and just listen to them talk. Right? There's never been that's never been possible before. So watching shows like this, but my point here is Chamath was talking about the Bitcoin 4-year cycle, and he was explaining it to these other 3 million like millionaires, and like you can kind of see them. They're always just kind of like this, but for that segment, they were all just like really paying attention, right?
Yeah.
And then Jason Calcanis at the end goes, "Well, what does that mean for my Bored Ape?" And Shmoff said 0. But I just thought that was funny. But I'm not, I don't watch that show like just to be like, oh, these guys are amazing. I watch a show just to get information, just listen, to be a fly on that wall in that room, basically. And Chamath was sitting there explaining, Chamath bought $1 million worth of Bitcoin in 2011. Like he
early.
he said he sold a lot of it, but he said that it's just he's just been always a Bitcoiner, and he said he's been talking to people, and they said, yeah, that's going to happen again. So that was pretty cool to see. That came up, but yeah. All right. So we'll get into some like not before we get into the Bitcoin price action, we'll get into some like not so bullish stuff. So our guy Bob Lucas says, my thinking on Bitcoin is staying in range through August, building new base, complete reaccumulation, reset, settlement, and weekly cycle. What do you think about this tweet?
So as I mentioned before, Bob Lucas is really good at putting two logical options in front of his audience. And so this was the kind of option B. Option A was June 1st, period or whatever. We rock it up to about 80,000, 85,000. And we start this, basic, like kind of super fueled left translated cycle type of situation, right? And which would end the cycle actually at the end of this year or early next year. Or B, which kind of follows more in the super cycle thesis. And it's a chop from here until the end of July, I believe.
Yeah.
And going back and forth, and saying, okay, this is going to be kind of a chop period, boring, but time for large players to accumulate, right? And stuff. So I don't think this is bearish. It's just boring sounding, right? And I think for like us that wants excitement and stuff, it's the lesser attractive option, right?
Yeah.
And so either way, though, we the end result is the same. I mean, obviously one's extended out, Bitcoin could go higher, so that's different in that sense, but both end with Bitcoin going higher and reaching like new all-time highs.
It's kind of like, that when the Super Bowl is coming, right? You just don't know what time it's coming on. It's like if they put it on, like, hey, we're just not going to tell you when we're going to put it on. We're just going to put it on. And that's kind of like you're doing. You're kind of just sitting there. You're kind of just waiting for the show to go on. You're just like, I don't know when it's going to come on, but I'm excited to
like
watch
a rain delay. Like
exactly,
rain delay, right?
Exactly, a rain delay. You just don't know, and I think he's basically that was a good analogy. But yeah, I just think he's waiting for this rain delay to kind of go off. But he thinks it's going to happen in August, and what that does though, that puts us with every other cycle. That kind of calms us down a little bit and gets us to where we normally are. With the ETF might have kind of pushed us to ranges we're not supposed to be at yet, and then now we need to kind of like cool down before we can start really taking that next leg up. It would be a tough summer for me. Especially with doing the show every day, if Bitcoin sat between 60 and 70K until August. I personally don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to have a very hot summer in the terms of Bitcoin, and I think that we're going to be, at all-time highs way before August, in my opinion. But I'm always super bullish, so.
And him like ranging could be like a touching, tagging 75K, right? Again, around there, and then going back down to 67K. But we go to 75K, we just tag it. That also creates like more liquidity and stuff in these other ecosystems. So it doesn't mean that we'll have a boring summer necessarily, because runes could pop hard because of that. If it tags 75, ordinals can kind of pop again, and these other ecosystems will probably pop because that means ETH will probably jump up too. And so it for Bitcoin itself could possibly be boring, chopping back and forth. But for our ecosystems, I agree with you. I think that there's going to be moments of excitement, and then leading into the real run up with Bitcoin, it will just be intensified even more. Right.
I agree.
So
Yep. All right. Let's kind of dig into what Bitcoin is doing. This morning we were having our pre-show meeting, and Bitcoin was starting to do some fun things. Finally,
yeah, it was. It definitely was. It jumped up here around 6 a.m. Central, and it wicked all the way to like 68,300. Yeah, around there is kind of the highest it hit, and then it's been a little bit of a pullback here. Right now, we're sitting at 67,781. But like over the weekend, it really kind of just ranged back and forth in the 67,000 high. Yeah, I don't even think it touched down to 66 really. Maybe last night it did. No, it didn't. So yeah, it's been really just in the 67,000 range from the bottom of 67,000 all the way to the top. And just kind of ranging is what it is. This is the hourly chart, as you can see. Possibly we, continue up right here. This is red candle that just formed not long ago at the 8 o'clock mark here, but it's very small. And you can see the stochastic RSI still wants to kind of shoot up above 80 and hang out in this overbought range. So maybe we see some more green candle, get back to 68,000. But either way, I don't think like it's going to matter too much today. If we go to, even if we go to 69,000, I don't see us really getting to 70,000. Maybe next week. Mondays are always kind of like unpredictable, right? Like Mondays the past 2 Mondays have been pretty bullish. 2 Mondays ago we hit 74,000. Last Monday we hit 70,500 or something like that. So we'll see tomorrow kind of where it goes. If we tilt up again, we could go a little bit further, or if it reverses and like Bob Lucas says, when you chop, it can go either way that way. And so we'll kind of see here. If you look at the daily, daily doesn't look great. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red candles in a row, but that doesn't mean that we can't start to form a green candle here, because this kind of looks like it could be a small bull flag forming here, and then start to tilt up. But again, like I don't get so worried about Bitcoin's price action unless there's like a huge dip, then my eyebrows raised and why did that happen? What caused it? But with increases, to me, it's like unless there's a substantial increase in energy building up and it's like hitting like 70,000, hit 72, hit 75, then I'm like, okay, we're back on. You know what I mean? So without like a huge drop off or that built up momentum of consistency, I feel like we're just in range zone, which, as you said, can be boring.
Yeah, this June is a big month for economic data. We're gonna have, we're heading into the second half of the year, right? So, June usually is a big deal for the CPI number, the PPI number, and we do have a Fed meeting this month as well. Towards the end of the month, that'll be. So I think that's really going to dictate what Bitcoin does. I think a lot of people are waiting for that sign of risk on. And once that happens, though, I think we're going to start flying. So if the Fed comes out and says, "Hey, we think it's time to drop rates a little bit," depending on the economic data that is received this month, then we could really have an amazing July. I think June's going to be boring, but I think July is going to be very hot.
Yeah, I think it's so crazy too. This is one point, and this is kind of not necessarily like right on subject, but it is about Bitcoin and retail. Is retail in the world? I realized. For us, like we see Bitcoin at 67,000. When it got to 74,000, we were like, yes, this is it. Like we're back. But retail kind of raises their eyes for some people, but then like the media, they're seeing it too, but they don't really get excited because they've seen this before with the previous cycle. Yeah. And then in the previous cycle, I remember when we hit 20,000. And it was kind of similar. It was like a little bit of excitement, but they saw that in 2017, the 20,000, So I think, guys, when we get to like 85,000 prices that we haven't seen before, I think that's when the media frenzy happens. The radio stations start talking about it. And then your grandma will start saying, "Hey, I heard about the Bitcoin that you talk about all the time is going crazy." And I think at that time period, we'll all be like, okay, it has officially begun.
Yeah, man. We should add a shirt to the store that says my grandma thinks I work for Bitcoin.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. All right. Let's kind of get into some other stuff here. Not a lot of news happening over the last couple of days, but we're going to jump into some of the stuff. So Crypto.com came out and said, let's start June by learning about Bitcoin runes. With runes, Rodamore is aiming to make Bitcoin fun again. This is Crypto.com. This is one of the big players in the space. I used to use them, but they're super expensive. They're some of the highest fees that I've ever paid to bridge in, bridge out. What do you think? How big do you think this is for the normal, let's say Ethereum holder or like Solana holder?
It's pretty big. I think it's pretty big because crypto.com is a big player, even if they are expensive. They were one of the first big advertisers here in the US, right? With, excuse me, the MEA and being able to do commercials and stuff like that. They work really closely with regulators and they're big in Singapore too. And I think they're based out of there. But there's a lot of kind of onboarding and offboarding happening there, right? So this is really big that they're bringing attention to it because there's also the Chronos blockchain that is a part of crypto.com, right? It's kind of like what Base is to Coinbase. And so there's a lot of users over there. And so the fact that crypto.com is bringing this up is really big. And I think that the more the big exchanges talk about it, the more there's a chance that Coinbase will eventually follow suit. So you got Binance already talking about, you got OKX already talking about it. Now crypto.com, which really didn't talk about BRC20s and stuff much before, they're talking about it. And then next would be like, Coinbase, I feel like, or Kraken. I think they've discussed a little bit, but if Coinbase lists a rune, it's on.
Yeah,
It's,
obviously that rune's gonna be dog, right? That's the biggest thing for me. It's like when people are looking at all these bags, it's dog. But that's the thing though, is like if dog moves up when from them buying, other tokens move up from us buying, right? Us saying this is gonna be the next one they list, So I think that's huge for the entire ecosystem. But crypto, to your point, crypto.com, crypto.com now, Kraken, Binance puts out something every day. Just kind of waiting for that big dog, that big Coinbase to put out an article about runes. And then it's like everyone has now at least mentioned runes at least once, which is big for us.
Yeah, I agree. This is big. This is pretty big news, man. So
yeah, man. Moving over to some BRC20 stuff with Unisat. I guess they sell runes there too, but no one buys them there anymore, do they? But Unisat says our pizza giveaway event has ended, and so far 200,000 addresses have been claimed their pizza. Unisat will begin inscribing and distributing pizza inscriptions in the coming days. This process will take approximately 1 week or longer. Please wait patiently and stay tuned for official updates. So could you explain what the hell this pizza thing is?
Yeah. So I think Unisat came up with an idea of celebrating, Bitcoin Pizza Day, but also by trying to bring some attention back to them and the BRC20 space. It's a 5-ticker BRC20, which is a part of their new, implementation of 5 tickers, 5-character tickers. It was a way to do something similar to what like Runestone did with like a number of holders. I don't think they really calculated the cost it would take, which I think is close to $1 million. People are saying
$2 million. Yeah,
$2 million. Wow, that's a lot. So use that. I hope that this is a strong marketing event because that's a lot of money to spend on marketing, right? But 200,000 holders, nevertheless. These things have been trading on OTC, I think, for like $3 plus, right?
Yep.
So there could be. I don't expect it to get to $3 necessarily right when it launches, and maybe it touches it briefly, but the well markets and OTC tend to overvalue things, right? So they get pumped up, and then so I could see this thing being $1.50 to $2 maybe, and then maybe going down, but I just don't know how they sustain the floor with this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because unless they're gonna like they release this with like a swap or something with liquidity pools and stuff, then they have something. But if it's just straight up BRC20s like how we do tokens here, then it's gonna be hard, because I think there's gonna be a lot of people taking profit right off the bat.
I agree, and
I know I'm already thinking that. I'm being honest,
Yeah, I'm thinking that this is the last stand for BRC20s. If they don't get this right, if this doesn't become something super big, I think BRC20s are gone. I think the fractal Bitcoin thing, we're hearing rumors that like some people aren't really confident in that, and we're hearing different things from a whole bunch of different people, where the team Unisat might be pivoting to Uni Worlds. They might just do their marketplace and stuff like that, and they might stop pushing BRC 20 so hard. And you still have the Layer 1 Foundation with Domo, but Fractal Bitcoin, you could say what you want about it, but if you have to bridge, it's a sidechain. You're not on Layer 1 anymore, and that's fine. I mean, I'm big on Layer 2s, but you can't call yourself a on Layer 1 if you're bridging. So I'm a little worried for the BRC 20 holders, not the ones holding Ordi or Sats, but everything else that's not on on Binance. It's just they need to make sure this is right. But they get this right, this could be big. This could bring people back in. And the 5-digit tickers, I hate the way they brought them out, but I think that they still have an opportunity to kind of push this a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I still, I think that it has to be the modular system that saves it. But we'll see. We've talked to some people, and they have doubts that it's going to be anything substantially better than what they have now. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, time is always the truth teller, and so
100%.
we'll see what happens whenever they roll anything out like that.
Yeah, man. All right, you want to start digging into the updates?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. We want to take on first.
You want to start with the runes? I feel like the runes market updates is a good one to start off with.
Sounds good. Can we take that?
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
I feel like you got that. You usually have that a pretty good handle on going through that.
All right, guys, we're gonna take a look at. We got number one spot in by market cap. We have Fehu. Obviously, it's not a fully diluted market cap, so this market cap isn't correct. But for fully diluted, it is correct. But it doesn't move between $20 and $22 for the last, I'm gonna say, 2 months now, or what, 30 days. I keep thinking Runes has been out a lot longer than it hasn't. It really hasn't.
I know.
We got the dog sitting at 11.16 sats. Still under a penny, but I think that changes real soon. And I think about dog. I think once we get to 1 penny, I think it gets to 2 pennies really quickly, because I think when we get to 1 penny, we're going to be on those exchanges. I think this can get to like 4 or 5 pennies, which puts it at like $8 billion market cap, which is going to be exciting. Well, actually, no. Every penny will be $1 billion. Yeah, every penny would be $1 billion. So at 5 cents, this will be a $5 billion market cap. At 8 cents, this will be $8 billion market cap. Do you think it can hit any of those goals? 8 cents?
I mean, yeah, anything's possible, right? Not anything, but like I feel like that is within the range of possibilities. It obviously has to run super, super hard. I think it's tough with the environment we have now. There's going to have to be a lot of centralized exchanges that push it hard. Like, Coinbase is on board, and eventually, like, if it gets to Robinhood, like that type of situation, yeah. Pepe's not on Robinhood, I know that, but like, Pepe's on Coinbase, though, I think. It is. Yeah. So once you reach that level, then you see Pepe's at 6 billion, I think. So 8 billion, I think we have to be like in the heart of the bull market, and there has to be a lot of centralized exchanges listed with it.
I agree. We got RSIC coming in at number 3 spot at 231 billion. This actually came up a little bit, sitting at 16.25 sats. Got all the way down to about 8 sats. About 3 weeks ago, and it's kind of sitting pretty now. Pups really hasn't been moving. It's sitting at $142 million market cap. Pups World Peace. We both had the same opinion on this. It's just in too many places. Right now, it's a BRC 20. It's this. It's something else. So I'm hoping that they can migrate to 1 and just kind of pick one. But just sitting in that 4th spot, 5th spot. This was not in the 5th spot last week. Sitting at $70 million market cap. It's Epic. Do you have any idea why Epic's been moving? Because I have no idea.
I would imagine it probably the team and maybe some community that they've developed. But yeah, I don't think the everyday runes person is grabbing tons of it unless they know information that we don't, which could possibly be the case, because like Wells usually are able to get information. And so maybe that's why maybe it's part of the team that's kind of helping prop this up. But regardless, we know that there's capital behind this, right? So they have the bullets to be able to help prop it up.
100%. Decentralized in that 6 spot, sitting at 3.7. Still waiting for information from that team. We read that tweet a couple days ago. Bank of Nakamoto sitting at a $49 million market cap. This had a big day yesterday. Came up a little bit there. Satoshi Nakamoto feels like it's been in that 8th spot for a while now, sitting at $46 million market for $48 million market cap.
Oh wow, that dropped because it was this morning at 250.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's Sunday morning though. Like
Yeah.
people just dump to get some cash for the week. Lobo the Wolf Pup sitting at up 24% on the day, seeing a $44 million market cap. This thing was a $16 million market cap at one time, man. It's huge, really moving. The Runix token down a little bit, $34 million market cap. Runes X token, $33 million market cap. Cats in Sats. This got all the way up to about $1.20, sitting now at around 83 cents at $17 million market cap. Manko Runes sitting at 20 cents. Has been sitting up here for a few days now. Hasn't really moved. Well, it's up 14% on the day, so that's pretty big. Zbit Blue Bitcoin sitting at $14 million market cap. The Donald Trump, man, this got all the way up to 24 sats. That's kind of where I sold it. Very happy about my entry and sell there. But it's sitting a little less than $10 million market cap. Gob is Gob. Sitting at $8 million market cap. Waddle Pengu sitting at $8 million market cap. Nicholas Pi Runes sitting at a $6 million market cap. And then our man, Mr. Yen, Japanese businessman, sitting at 28 cents at a $5.8 million market cap. Close this out with some meme economics at 4.9, Intergalactic 4.07. RuneScape Gold. This one came out of nowhere. Had over 1,500 buys this weekend. Something wild. Sitting at $3.8 million market cap. Sing Gang 9 Sing sitting at $3 billion market cap. Uncommon Goods sitting at a $3 billion market cap. And this is a big one here. Bitcoin dollar cat, $1 billion cat sitting at 2.8 million. This came out of nowhere. Sitting with $2 million market cap, almost 3 million. But yeah, man.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about this ecosystem right now?
Yeah, I think that there's definitely some value plays in there. More on the lower end of the market caps. I think Mr. Yen, everybody knows how we kind of feel about Mr. Yen. It's been holding that floor pretty nicely. Also, some of these cat memes have been doing very, very well. And I think there's going to be some new ones that pop in, like we've seen here. You just take advantage of them and flip them, and some will hang around and some won't. But like there are opportunities regardless, right?
100%. So. I agree. Which runes are value plays? Which one would you say, if you put money in today, it would be up a lot higher in 2 months? Obviously not financial advice, but what do you think are some value plays right now?
So I think decentralized is one. Keep scrolling down. Okay. I think that slow down a little bit. Go back up. Okay, let's see. I think that I'm gonna try to find smaller market caps, because that's where I think Cats and Sats is one.
Yeah.
I think that the Donald Trump is one, because I think that that's going to continue. You can see from the UFC fights last night that he was getting like tons of praise. So like as time goes on and we get closer to the election, I think that could be definitely one. That's like the main one on Bitcoin right now. That one right there, the Donald Trump, and then Wada Pingu could be, but I don't know. It's lost steam recently.
Yeah.
Scroll down. Mr. Yen, of course, is only at 5.8 million. I think Intergalactic could be, honestly, because it's 4 million right now. So once I'm so Chris and Bitmap Valley adds those payment rails, this could jump to like a $20 million market cap, so 5x, something like that. I'd have to look into RuneScape Gold. I'm interested on that one. I wonder what that's about. I have a feeling that it's like some sort of integration of something, like an application or game or something.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at that for the week.
Yeah, and the $1 billion cat, I think that one is kind of competing with Cats and the Sats right now. So the cat theme right now is popular on Bitcoin. And Argo Cabus, I think that's one. That's a value, 2.8 million. There's a connection with KP on that. And ticker is Elsa. It's a wild card right now. It came back up to 2.8 million, which is good. That's Halfini's dog's name, and this meme is based on that. That could be a value play, as well as both of the Pepe ones right there. Yeah, one of those is going to take the charge. One of those.
Yeah, they're both sitting at about 2.5 and 2.8 respectively.
Yeah. So.
All right. That is your rune update. Should I just jump right into collections? Or you want to?
Might as well. Right. Since it's right there.
Jump it over to collections. I like to go on the 7-day. That's what I think the best information is from. And yeah, it jumped right into the Frux. With the Frux. But
wow. They're number 1 on 7 days.
Frux
That's
is
crazy.
number 1, bro. Hold on. Maybe make sure I have the volume up. Okay, I was wrong. Okay. No Monkeys are sitting at 2.46 at 79 Bitcoin in volume, followed by the Bitcoin Puppets. I do like how the Puppets and No Monkeys are 1 and 2. Puppets are sitting at 0.142 with 65 Bitcoin in volume. Runestones, people are predicting that once we get to $1 billion, Leonidas is going to drop the next meme token from this. I am very bullish on whatever that next token is. I think it does really well. What's your opinion on Runestone? Would you buy a Runestone here to potentially get the next coin from Leonidas?
Man, maybe, because I think when they release it, it will be like when things are probably hot, because he's not going to release anything until Dog has gotten to a certain successful point, right? So that means like 1.5 $2 billion market cap, and things are running pretty nice. I think that's like the perfect time to launch one, right, or drop one. And then at that point, I think like it's like destined for success, at least in the initial run up. So, but do I think the value's there right now? Possibly, because these runestones could also jump up as we get closer to that, and they start to put news out there. So yeah,
you got to remember too. There's 2 meme coins come out of this. One, we don't know when they're going to drop, but that's still pretty reason to hold them. But we'll see. Number 4 spot's Frux. What the Frux is Frux, man? It came out of nowhere. 4.8K, 3K holders. That's pretty amazing for the amount of supply. What do you think about these ones? Can these go up from here?
Yeah, they have. They look like frog puppets, puppets, the versions of the frog. So I imagine there's probably somebody that's some parts of that community that's crossed over there. But yeah, so I could see this increasing in value for sure.
Ordinal Maxi Biz in that 5th spot, sitting at 0.277. Bitcoin Frog sitting at 0.059. Quantum Cat sitting at 0.3. Blob sitting at 0.041. The Royals just got all the way up to about 0.012. Now fell back down to about 0.07, and now it's 0.007, and now it's sitting at 0.0083. RSIC Meta Protocol, Rune Pups migrating. These are all migrating to over there. Still have some value if you're interested in grabbing that. I think the value is pretty much the same as getting the same amount of pups though. Natcat sitting at 0.02. Bitcoin Wizard sitting at 0.138. The Ninjas are sitting at 0.097. And Promethean sitting at 0.0084. It was funny. Trevor put out a tweet that said, imagine paying $14,000 for a ordinal, and the founder won't even follow you, which was a dig at Udi. Udi. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty funny that Trevor gave some shots at Udi, but and Raktoshi too, I guess technically, but I think he was specifically talking about Udi. What do you think about that little rivalry there?
Well, I didn't know that that's who he was talking about. I thought those guys probably run in the same circles at the events and stuff, but maybe competition has gotten turned up a notch. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, look at it, 9-7 and 1-3. I think that's what he was saying. But I think it's a friendly competition. I don't think it's anything. But I thought that was pretty funny. How Trevor said, "Now I'll follow pizza holders, but Udi won't." But that's how I took it. I could be wrong. That's how I read it. I was, shots fired at Udi. But yeah, man, that is your digital artifact market update. Where's bitmaps at? There you go.
Right there. Yeah, they dropped a little bit.
Yeah, they're actually a lot more expensive over on Merlin.
Merlin,
Crazy
I know.
yeah.
Which is
someone was typical thing of buying a bunch of these and bridging them over. Everyone's talking about they want to get their bitmaps out. I don't even buy bitmaps in. But yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, let me take us to the BRC20 market update. I got Unisat pulled up here. We'll see how this market's doing. It's definitely, down. But you can see Wizard is in that number one spot, up about 11.69% in total volume on 24-hour. RSK comes in at number 2 at 42.86%, and then Track at number 3. Down in volume though, and but still the third highest volume in here on the 24-hour chart or data pool here. But yeah, down 10.39%. Then you go to number 4.
Number 40.
Number 4, yeah, number 40. Ordi at number 4, down 15.73%. Track, I want to go back to Track real quick. The price in Track, it picked back up. So it was down to $2.04. So $2.18. It's been down a little bit. We'll see how that goes. Ordi has picked up in price. Oh, wow, $51. So Ordi has kind of been jumping in price, but the rest of the BRC20 space, not so much.
Yeah.
So that's at number 5.
I want to go back to Track real quick. So I just wanted to give my opinion that no one cares about, but I just think that the Track holders got diluted by the tap. I'm curious of your argument there. I just think instead of there being 21 million Track now there's 4.2 million. I'm sorry, 42 million Track. With adding the tap token, it's the same token. To me, it's the same token. Tap token is just a reward token for a lot of things that's happening over there. It's the same thing. Tap and Track from the same founders, the same everything. I feel like the Track holders got diluted and didn't get enough airdrop of that dilution. And I think that's why it's down. I think they're losing a lot of the community, and I'm hoping that something comes from that. But I'm curious, what's your opinion on that? Am I wrong?
Well, if it wasn't a governance token, Tap, would it still be diluted?
I mean, there's no difference. I mean, you can call governance all you want, but they say Track is the governance for Tap.
I know. So what I'm saying is, if it wasn't, because you brought up governance and stuff like that. So either way, you're saying because it was deployed by Track that it's diluted.
It's the same token. Right? What's the difference?
Well, so the reason why I asked that is because you could use the same argument for the next token from the runestone. Right. So
I agree. That is the dilution. I 100% agree.
Yeah. So then you kind of put those both in the same category. And then, are you going to be bearish on dog at that point? You know what I'm saying? So, so then if you hold that same consistent opinion, then, I feel like that's fair for you to say that.
One thing about that token, though, is that the dog, the next derivative from dog, is going to be that it's going to be 100% airdrop. If Tap was 100% airdrop to Track holders, that'd be completely different. And I think that's the difference between the two.
Yeah, but it's not 100% airdrop to dog holders.
Well, let's just say you didn't sell. If you didn't sell your runestone, you're holding your, the people who held on is what I'm saying.
I imagine there was probably a good portion of people that sold their runestone, right? Because I mean,
that was your choice, though. That
you make even more money. Yeah. So it's definitely a better situation than the Track Tap situation, but it's kind of similar in that sense.
I don't see that as comparison because the team Leonidas isn't getting 12%. That's a big deal to me. The advisors aren't getting 4%.
But that wasn't your argument. It was dilution.
Yeah.
So the dilution argument is that it is similar, but in terms of Track, no, I think that yes, there will be a dilution effect. So I agree with you on that, but I think they're pretty distinctively different in what Track was, it being the first token associated with decentralized indexing, and then Tap being associated with its ecosystem. So I think there's enough of a difference for that to be okay. The tokenomics and stuff, that's a different conversation, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep it moving.
All right. And then we have stats here up 300% on the 24-hour volume. Moomy up 175% on 24-hour volume. Meme up 13.64%. You got Pups pulled back about 2.18% in volume. Pizza, not the pizza we talked about earlier, but the BRC20 one that deployed a long time ago.
Pizza.
Up 17.72%. Yaisu up 5.63%. Oshi, God, this thing's not dead. It's up 11.03%.
Who the hell is buying Oshi?
Probably that Merlin guy.
Oh,
yeah, or the founder. His name is Merlin. And so, and then you got FSP even here at no change. Domo at 13.31%. Orange A down 8.69%.
that's one that I'm looking
and then-
into. There's not many
And
BRC20s
Zbit
that
here.
I like. That's the big one for me, Orange J.
Yep. Zbit here at 8.81%. So we'll finish it off there. But like the last question for you is, you just said Orange J is one BRC20 that you'd be okay to hold.
Yeah.
How many are you okay to hold, and which ones are those?
I'm looking for the ones that are going to convert to runes. And after our conversation with Damon Nam, it sounds like he's going to be converting. At,
Did he? I don't remember him saying
that's
that.
what it sounded like. That's what it sounded like to me. I don't know. I could be wrong. And you know, I don't know. It sounded like
I think
Orange
he was
J was
just
going to be a rune.
I think he was just like saying that he's open-minded to all of the fungible tokens to support with
Yeah.
with Orange Wallet and stuff like that, because he didn't know which one. Like they don't want to place bets on it. But
Yeah.
maybe I missed a part of our conversation. Maybe it was before the recording or anything or something like that. Maybe he did mention that there was going to be
I thought
a
he said something
transition.
about runes.
I
I don't know if
mean,
it's a full transition, but it might
yeah.
be like if you want to, you can. Like you'll be able to bridge there.
Gotcha. That's actually probably smart to leave it open to them and then just do one-to-one burning or whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
But any others that you feel similar to that?
BRC20s. I mean Ghosty, but that's just because it it gets you the airdrop for the spooky token, and I feel like the Ghosty team is going to do a better job than the Tap team. I think they're going to do their tokenomics a little better. I'm hoping after they see kind of the backlash of what Track's going through. I mean, Track's down almost $1 from where it was, before the tokenomics were announced. I mean, that's 33%. And I think the team at Ghosty is very smart, and I think they're very more community open than Track is. I think they're less, they're really community based. It seems like with the bridges and all that stuff. I think the spooky token and what Ghosty's doing is going to be pretty big for them. So I don't know. I'm excited for Ghosty for sure. I have a big bag.
Yep. All right, that's the BRC20 market update for the weekend, guys.
Yeah, man. All right, guys. Please go check out ordinalrevolution.com. We have some of the best articles over there, guys. And if you go to Bitcoin Nashville, it's getting close now. It's getting really close to the time. Get your tickets for Bitcoin Nashville. If you guys want to use our site, we get 21% off coupon there. Click that. You can pay in Bitcoin, and then come to Nashville. We'll be there. And if you're there, wear some Ordinals gear. I actually just bought 3 shirts from us. I'm gonna be wearing out there. I was trying to look. I was like, you know what? Dude, I need some of my own Ordinals gear. So I went and bought 3 shirts from our site. I'm gonna be rocking it. I got a dog. I got an sick, and I got I can't remember the third one, but yeah, I got a few of our shirts there. Go to ordinalrevolution.com, hit the store, and you kind of see all the new stuff. If you guys want us to add something, if you we want to add something, we will. I mean, we added a couple of things for a couple other people. Let us know what you want us to add. Just send me a DM at Shizzy Stats on X, and we'll get that added for you. Just let us know. And we're live Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. 8 a.m. Pacific.
Yep.
And I think it's like 4 p.m. European or UTC. So that is everything, I think, right?
Yep. Covered it all.
All right, guys. One more thing. We'll check out our partners, Fluid Tokens. Fluid is dropping their decks this week, guys. We're going to have him on the show. He's going to give a full tutorial on that, and then we'll put out our own tutorial on that and to kind of give you guys exactly how to use it. Check out Rothium decks. They're weeks, probably days away from launching. Hopefully days and not weeks, but it's potentially going to be soon. And Traverse Labs, guys. You guys have any reason to kind of be like, oh wow, I'm a little overexposed here on this hot wallet. Check out Traverse. It's non-custodian. One of the best ways to secure your wallets. I think it's better than a hardware wallet, honestly, for ordinals, because we just can't use them yet. But Traverse has that solution for you guys. Go check out Traverse. It's traverselabs.com. TraverseLabs.com. Check them out.
TraverseLabs.io. Yep.
.io. Yep.
And
all right, guys.
One more thing about Traverse. So if you are Ordinal Revolution OG pass holder, you have until June 10th to lock up that pass into a Traverse security vault to receive the Traverse tap token airdrop. So just wanted to put that detail out there.
8 days away, guys. Stop messing around. Get those vaults in. Get those passes in. Get that airdrop, and then and that's the show, guys. We'll see you this week.
Yep. Peace.
Ordinal Revolution. Let's go.